Good evening and welcome to the Newshour. I'm Madhav. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Dharna and Dangal have stalled the Sansad. The budget session is witnessing the centre and opposition sparring over democracy and Maafi. The trickle-down effect of Rahul's London strike has turned the Parliament into a virtual war zone. The fire started after the Gandhi sign told British parliamentarians in London that functioning microphones in the Lok Sabha are often silenced against the opposition. Now today, claiming vindication, the Congress alleged that if mics weren't enough, the centre has decided to mute the Lok Sabha proceedings entirely. Sharing a clip on Twitter, the Congress party said that broadcast audio of the House proceedings went off at a time when it was demanding from Lok Sabha Speaker to allow Rahul Gandhi to say his piece. Listen in. Taking a take at the Prime Minister, the opposition said that it seems that na bolunga, na bolne dunga is the mantra of the Sarkar. Listening to this track.
तो हमारी मांग है कि अदानी और मोदी जी की अंदरूनी जो उनका जो संबंध हो क्या है, और इसलिए हम जेपीसी मांग कर रहे हैं। राहुल जी सदन में बैठे थे, हम लोग सारे चुप्पी सा देते, बार बार गुहार लग रहे थे स्पीकर साहब के हमें कुछ बोलने का मौका दिया करो, नहीं दिया।
Actually go on to prove what Mr. Gandhi has been speaking, that there is no democracy. You are not allowing him to speak. You are blocking the parliament from functioning. You are not and unconstitutionally you are raising this issue even in the Rajya Sabha. So you go on to endorse what he is saying. So there can be an investigation, whatever they want to do, considering they have such brute majority. They can continue to change processes, undermine processes to get their things done. However, it only goes on to prove further that there is just a democracy in name, but not in functionality.
Take the people, because they are the masters in democracy. They are seeing it, about the 140 crores of the people. Let them speak. They are seeing it. It is the BJP, the ruling bunches, trying to stall the parliament functioning every day, systematically as a routine, in a very planned manner. They are doing it. They don't want the parliament to function.
And if this wasn't enough, Congress launched another counter-offensive against the Sarkar by moving a privilege motion against PM Modi for making what they call derogatory, insulting, distasteful and defamatory remarks against the Gandhis. The Congress's counter hinges on the PM's comments made in February on the family not using the Nehru surname. Raining fire, the BJP has slammed the Congress for trying to divert from the fact that Rahul maligned Bharat on foreign soil. It wants Rahul's expulsion from Sansad. Listen in.
They are trying to divert the attention from the core issue of corruption. Congress party? When was the first this National Herald case registered? October 2013. When so many cases of charges. Forget about this. UPA 1, UPA 2 regime, CWG, 2G and others. Sri Rajiv Gandhi ji, late Sri Rajiv Gandhi ji was the first Prime Minister who was directly indicted, his name directly indicted in the matter of corruption.
वो राष्ट्रपति जी को धन्यवाद देने के बजाय पूरे अपने भाषण में प्रधानमंत्री जी को कोसते रहे। आपके मीडिया में है, आपके अखबार में है, तो कौन नहीं बोलने दे रहा था? जितना समय था उससे ज्यादा बोले। अब एक आरोप लगाते हैं कि स्पीकर ने मेरा माइक बंद कर दिया। मुझे लगता है कि लोकसभा की कार्रवाई की प्रणाली का उनको ज्ञान नहीं है, या तो जहां तक मैं समझता हूं ज्ञान नहीं है, या वो सीरियस नहीं है।
प्रिविलेज का बनते ही नहीं है नोटिस, उसमें कोई ऐसी उनके वक्तव्य में बात नहीं है जो विशेषाधिकार की हनन की बात होती हो। ये इसलिए कहा जा रहा है कि अब पूरा देश राहुल गांधी से नाराज है। उन्होंने लंदन में, कैम्ब्रिज में जाके, विदेश में जाकर के भारत के लोकतंत्र को, जो कि मदर ऑफ द डेमोक्रेसी है, और उन लोगों के आगे जाके रोया है जिनसे आज़ादी की लड़ाई लड़के हमने लोकतंत्र को हासिल किया है।
And that brings me to the legitimate question we're asking this evening. Who's disrespecting democracy?
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
messages across to our panelists. With us is Shehzad Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the BJP. Karan Verma, author, is with us. Abhijit Iyer Mitra is a senior fellow at the IPCS. Joining us also is Vivek Bansal, senior leader of the Congress party. Tehseen Poonawalla is a political analyst also joining us, as is Ashutosh, political analyst and senior journalist also with us. Let me start with Shehzad Poonawalla. Shehzad Poonawalla, you know, the point being made by the Congress today, and you've seen the comments, of course, the BJP has reacted since, but the sum and substance of what the Congress has even tweeted, they put out clips on social media, I'm sure you've seen all of them. They are alleging that this proves what Rahul was trying to say in London, that our mics are muted. Not only is the opposition's mic muted, the entire proceedings were today muted, and that was there for all to see. Your response to what the Congress is alleging?
Well, if anybody is a past master at muting democracy, it was in 1975 when the emergency was imposed, and in fact Kishore Kumar, your and my favorite singer, was muted, and let's not even talk about what they did with the Supreme Court. But having said that, today I think Sansad TV has already put out an explanation about that incident. But having said that, let's come to the focus issue. 5 days Parliament is on. Rahul Gandhi doesn't come on day 1, doesn't come on day 2, doesn't come on day 3. He finally arrives but doesn't enter the House, and that's because two issues. One, he knows he has committed an egregious act. Your channel, Madhav, Times Now showed how he made a statement which invited foreign intervention. Forget the statements that Tehseen Poonawalla and his ilk will quote, PM said this in 2014, PM said that in 2015. I am on a specific statement of seeking foreign intervention from US and Europe. 51 hours later, he did a fact check of it. And now, Madhav, I want to make you hear something very, very important. He's not done this for the first time. I want you, Madhav, and your viewers to hear what he has said to Nicholas Burns. And Nicholas Burns is important because he is the current ambassador of US to China. Please listen to this.
I didn't hear anything from the US.
Please 1 second.
Okay, we can't get that audio, Shehzad Poonawalla, but you know, it's very important.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't want us to get into the specifics. You can paraphrase it. You can paraphrase it. You can paraphrase it, Shehzad Poonawalla. It's fine.
One second. Madhav is fundamental. I'm sorry. There was a technical error. Madhav, your audio is a little weak.
The problem is it becomes very difficult for us to, on short notice, authenticate such videos. Shehzad, you can paraphrase it and put it across. You have raised some questions. I want Tehseen to respond to them.
Madhav.
Quickly, in 15 seconds, paraphrase.
Madhav.
I don't want you to play videos, please.
Madhav, please bear with me for 10 seconds.
You read out what he has said.
Okay.
Please read out. Let's not play videos.
Okay. The reason I wanted to play it out is because then I am accused that I am misquoting Rahul. I'll just tell you what he said. I have the video of him with Nicholas Burns. I have not done the breaking story back then. He says that I want the US establishment to tell me why is that they're doing nothing when so much of democracy is dying in India. He has had a history. May I just continue? George Soros, who made a statement, Mr. Praveen Chakravarti endorsed that statement. That tweet is also there.
Okay.
We have seen Manishankar Iyer go to Pakistan and demand foreign intervention, Pakistani intervention into Indian elections.
All right.
So there is a series and a pattern of the Congress party demanding foreign intervention.
Right.
On that specific point, I am asking, why is it that the Congress party does not deem it fit to ask Mr. Rahul Gandhi to categorically and unconditionally apologize and allow Parliament to continue? Why put ego above institution?
Okay. A number of points that you have covered over there. I'm going to go one by one. I'm going to start with the last point that you made first. Tehseen Poonawalla, the direct question coming from the BJP is that since Mr. Rahul Gandhi, they believe, has made certain comments which are against the interest of India, has insulted Parliament, why not apologize and allow the Parliament to function, is the statement that he has made. I'm going to come to the other points, but first and foremost, I want you to primarily address this.
Very grateful for giving me this opportunity, and the BJP spokesperson articulately said what he had to say. Now here's the answer. Let's assume what the BJP spokesperson is saying is the truth. Let's assume for a minute. Let's go by what he's saying is the truth. Then there are only two solutions to the problem. A, Shri Rahul Gandhi has done something that is illegal. Therefore, the current dispensation, the current government should act against him. Under whom is the Home Ministry? Under Shri Amit Shah ji. So you please act against him, number one, legally. Number two, in Parliament, 3 union ministers, without giving any notice, made accusations against him. Now, Shehzad has served in Parliament. He served as a parliamentary secretary. He served in Parliament. He knows that when somebody makes an accusation, the right to rebuttal of a member of Parliament is a fundamental right. Of anybody in Parliament is a fundamental right. Why is Shri Rahul Gandhi not being given his right to rebuttal? Whether he said something good, bad, ugly, irrelevant, something anti-national, allow him his space to speak. Point number one. Point number two, I'm not even going to get into what the Prime Minister said in Germany. India has gone with a begging bowl, which is something very, very bad. But if Mr. Poonawalla does believe, the BJP spokesperson, that Mr. Gandhi has asked for foreign intervention, which he didn't, but let's assume that he believes that, then the most honorable current Prime Minister actually got foreign intervention into India when he allowed ISI into Pathankot. ISI boots were actually on Indian soil. Never before has Pakistani boots come on Indian soil except when the Prime Minister allowed it. So by the same logic, shouldn't the most honorable Prime Minister also apologize to all Indians, especially the martyrs at Pathankot, for insulting our army, and apologize to the country? What holds true for Rahul Gandhi should also hold true for the most honorable Prime Minister.
Okay. Quick rebuttal from Shahzad, and I go across to others. Shahzad, very quickly.
First of all, Madhav, asking for foreign intervention into your country when you're a member of parliament doesn't necessarily attract criminal proceedings, but it can attract proceedings in the nature of breaching parliamentary privilege, and somebody has already moved one of those motions, one of the MPs of BJP. But having said that, this is an egregious offence about undermining the sovereignty of the country and the importance of parliament, and it was made on a foreign soil outside parliament. Shouldn't the parliamentarian who wants to use the parliamentary device and use a parliamentary platform should first say that I regret my statement, I apologize for it, and now I would like to have the parliamentary platform that I should definitely deserve, but before that I must apologize for it.
So since the insults are against parliament, parliamentary process is being brought in place. Tehseen, quick response.
Tehseen, let me complete. Instead of that, Tehseen, 1 second, do not interrupt me. I did not interrupt you. What the MP does instead of that is, he sets the terms and conditions. He says that allow me the time, I will then tell you what I want to say. That is not how parliament works. Please apologize categorically.
It's an insult. Got your point. It's an insult of parliament, and therefore a parliamentary process is in place to actually go ahead and take appropriate action. Tehseen Poonawalla, quick response, please.
The BJP spokesperson unfortunately is misguiding all your viewers. If Shri Rahul Gandhi is undermined the sovereignty of India, that is an offence under 124A of the Indian laws, and he should be acted against sedition case, which again I repeat comes under Amit Shah ji. If he breached parliamentary procedure, the 3 ministers, did they take permission from the Honourable Speaker to attack him in Parliament when they did not? He's at least come to the Speaker, said, I have a right to rebuttal. Please give him that right. I am saying you are right, but allow him to speak.
Let me come in now. I want others to come in. I want Mr. Vivek Bansal to come in now. Vivek Bansal, the question being raised, we put this question across as far as what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said in the press conference yesterday this morning to the Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, who also is in charge of the Lok Sabha, and this is Mr. Arjun Ram Meghwal. He made a very categorical point, and he says, just look at the record. During the motion of thanks to the President's address, Mr. Rahul Gandhi spoke extensively. He levelled all the charges that he wanted to. Nobody stopped him. So it's completely unfair of him to go out there to London and say that my voice is being suppressed. Whatever he wanted to say, all the charges he made against the PM, against Mr. Adani, are all there on record.
Well, Marvin, I would like to this of what all Mr. Arjun Meghwal said. Let me just first of all tell you that what all Mr. Rahul Gandhi spoke in the Parliament. No doubt he spoke extensively, and he made certain allegations regarding Mr. Gautam Adani, and subsequently PM had no answer to that. Till now, whatsoever, if somebody asks, if somebody talks about Gautam Adani, then Mr. Poonawalla or any of the BJP spokesperson, they just skirt away this issue, and then they come to this emergency, that in emergency this happened, and this and that happened. Secondly, let me tell you, if Rahul Gandhi spoke there in England and he spoke about democracy, he at no point of time, repeatedly BJP people are saying that he sought support from external forces as far as restoring the democracy. This is all bullshit. Let me just...
Let's mind our language, sir. Let me also, on that note, correct you. He did say that the EU and the US are oblivious to the fact that large parts of Indian democracy has been subverted. Mr. Bansal, what does he mean by saying oblivious? Mr. Bansal, what does he mean by saying US and EU are oblivious to the end of democracy or the killing of democracy or whatever it is?
I'm not able to, your voice is cracking.
Sir, he uses the word oblivious, Mr. Bansal. Let me repeat the word oblivious in context of the EU and the US when we are talking about, democracy being subverted here in India. Large parts of India he refers to. He also says that perhaps this is happening because of trade ties. That was also what he specifically says. What do you mean by US and EU are oblivious? Obviously, he's asking them to comment, to intervene. We don't know what he specifically meant, but oblivious is a very clear word.
No, oblivious is referring to all the forces or the diaspora, Indian diaspora, which was present there.
No, sir.
He was bringing it to
He says US and EU. He did not use the word diaspora. Let's be very specific now.
No.
You want me to play out that clip? We can try and play out that clip as well. I'm going to, in fact, ask my producers to fish out that clip so that we're all on the same page. No, Mr. Bansal, let's be very clear.
No.
The word oblivious was used, and it was not in the context of the NRIs or the diaspora.
No, Madhav Das, what I am saying, Indian diaspora was the listeners over there. He was addressing Indians over there, non-residents or students who were studying there. He was addressing them. So he was bringing it to no notice. And whatever he
Madhav,
was
it's
saying,
a complete lie.
Whatever he was
I have the statement of Rahul Gandhi.
Saying in this country. And you see, to talk about
Madhav, so was it not the Indian Journalists Association?
You can't allow people to
the best of my knowledge, it was the Indian Journalists Association.
Rahul Gandhi, both
made in London and before that.
Okay.
So whatever you have to say, if something is being said in India, this is telecasted throughout the world. So to say that in foreign soil, both of them saying that. And let me just set one thing straight. Even if we said that,
let me just quickly, one second. Let's just set this debate. One second. Mr. Bansal, I don't want to get into a tutu meme. Let's just play out that 4th March clip. Just 20 seconds of that clip, very quickly.
People don't quite understand the scale of India and its democracy. So, how would you react if democracy suddenly disappeared in Europe? Right? You'd be shocked and you'd be like, oh my God, that's a massive blow to democracy. Well, how would you react if something, a structure 3.5 times Europe suddenly went non-democratic? Right? That's happened already. It's 3 or 4 times the size of the United States in terms of numbers. Same with regards to Europe. So the surprising thing is that the so-called defenders of democracy, which are the United States, European countries, seem to just be oblivious.
But obviously, this leaves a huge scope for interpretation, and the BJP says this is an insult of our internal democracy.
This can be interpreted in any manner you like. You see, it is like a half bottle empty.
Okay.
You can term it as a half bottle empty or half bottle full.
Okay.
So it is how you interpret it.
Okay, it's a question of interpretation. Let me bring in others. Karan Verma, it's just a simple question of interpretation. And your interpretation is wrong. That is what Mr. Bansal seems to be suggesting. Please respond.
Madhav, no matter how articulate or erudite Congress spokespersons or someone like Tehseen are, they will have a very tough time to actually rationalize something like this. Rahul Gandhi has clearly made an extremely irresponsible and careless statement. Whether deliberately or not, that we can still question. But he has made extremely irresponsible statements. What kind of advertisement is this for our country, which talks of foreign investment time and again, which talks of tourism? When you paint this gloomy a picture that imagine democracy suddenly wipes off, I mean, what kind of image is he painting of our country? And not just that, he just doesn't stop there. He talks about China being harmonious. Imagine an intruder, an aggressor along the border with whom we faced a tough time. He is calling them harmonious. I mean, where you have 1.5 million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps, he's calling them harmonious. Then he called a car bomb to a terrorist attack that happened in Pulwama. He trivialized it as a car bomb.
Okay.
I mean, yes, we can still accept from the Congress if they own up these mistakes and give an unconditional apology. We can say that maybe it's a question of bad articulation or something of that sort. But being brazen about it or ironing it out in debates, I don't think it will help the Congress. A healthy, candid admission of mistake will help the Congress narrative and will also help the Parliament to proceed. We are losing serious money as taxpayers. Every
important point. In fact,
2.5 lakh rupees.
Very important point. And let me bring in.
We want both the parties to.
Let me bring in Ashutosh. Let me bring in Ashutosh. That's a very important point that you've raised. And in fact, Karan Verma, the question can also be turned on its head, because many will ask that, when the opposition disrupts Parliament, then the government says taxpayer money goes. What about now? Now it is primarily the treasury benches who are disrupting Parliament, sir. You can demand his apology without disrupting the House also, Karan Verma.
Look, Madhav, this is an endless tug of war. I mean, someone has to be gracious enough. Rahul Gandhi has made a careless statement which has hurt many sentiments, which has hurt sentiments across party lines. I can tell you many Congress people are enraged by that. And let me tell you one thing, Madhav, on a lighter vein. BJP is the last party that is going to mute Rahul Gandhi. I mean, BJP is the party that benefits immensely when Rahul Gandhi speaks. So trust me, they are not going to mute
but the
Rahul
clip
Gandhi.
says otherwise, sir. Today, I think the Congress has an audio and a video clip to show what has exactly happened. And what is perhaps more embarrassing, Karan Verma, is the fact that it happens when the chairman of the Rajya Sabha stated publicly that mics are never switched off. There is a clip of him saying as much about a week ago. So it is certainly a very serious issue, and the Congress says that their claim has at some level been justified. But I want to bring in Ashutosh before I go across to Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Ashutosh, it's very easy to put the opposition on the mat to say that the opposition disrupts the House, but here you have a situation where an entire week of the 17 sittings, 5 sittings have completely been washed out this entire week on the issue of, Rahul Gandhi saying a comment that perhaps BJP has enough reason to be outraged about. But the larger question is, as citizens, you have the BJP saying that through a PM privilege motion, they're trying to suppress the issue of Rahul Gandhi apologizing. You have the Congress saying that on the issue of Adani, the government does not want to respond, and therefore they have raised this issue of Rahul's apology. Either way you look at it, ultimately it's the citizens who suffer. There's no legislation, there's no law, there's no discussion on the budget. Please unmute yourself, sir.
Irony is that earlier opposition was blamed for wasting the time of Parliament and taxpayers' money. Today, unprecedentedly, the Treasury benches is doing that. So if they are doing it, there has to be some reason, and the reason is not Rahul Gandhi. It's a manufactured kind of a thing. The reason is that the government is scared of the Adani issue, doesn't want to deal with that. It doesn't know how to answer that question. And the question is very simple. And the whole world want to know what is Mr. Modi's relationship with Mr. Adani. That's the answer with which Mr. Modi is not giving. BJP is shying away. So that's it's a typical diversionary tactics which every government indulges. Whether it is Manmohan Singh government had done it when they were faced with a 2G, the Modi government is also doing the same thing. So talk about Rahul Gandhi, this, that, treasury benches, disrupting is useless and I have no meaning. If Rahul Gandhi has to apologize, then what about Mr. Narendra Modi? In Germany, can you remember what did he say? The most atrocious statement any prime minister could have ever said. He said India used to go with a begging bowl for a permanent seat on UN Security Council. Can any be more demeaning, more belittling, more insulting, more obnoxious statement ever made by any prime minister on the foreign soil?
Okay.
It is the same prime minister who has gone in South Korea and said earlier the people when used to born in India, they used to say, मैं कहाँ पैदा हो गया, मुझे तो शर्म आती है. आप हिंदुस्तान को क्या समझ रखा था आपने?
Okay.
सब लोगों की भावनाएं आहत नहीं हुई थी, आहत हुई थी.
Well, I don't think two wrongs make a right. I will just say this. Any leader making a statement on foreign soil that denigrates India or its democracy, I think has to be condemned. I'm not going to justify any statement, but since you...
Madhav, let me complete.
Very quickly, please. Quickly, please.
Then Law Minister, Mr. Arun Jaitley on the floor of the House has said, we used to go to foreign countries and used to talk about the violation
made by Prime Minister abroad, which Ashutosh is alleging, and Congress has also said have insulted India outside on foreign soil. All right, you made your point, sir. Let's get a quick response. Yes.
Madhav, I'm not alleging. Please correct yourself. I've given a fact.
Sir, I am saying that you are making a point. Let's get the response. Let me ask the question at least. This is the question you are raising. Let's get a response from Shehzad Poonawala.
Madhav, I exclusively debate only on the basis of facts. I don't come here and spew rhetoric. Here is a picture of today's proceedings. Your channel was showing it live. These are people in the well. They are from the opposition. They are not from the BJP. The BJP disrupted no proceedings today. In fact, if they would have allowed the proceedings to go on, perhaps after Rahul Gandhi's unconditional categorical apology, House could have functioned. Secondly, let me bring a very important statement. Again, you're drawing parallels between two sets of statements. You can criticize the government. I may have a view of it. Tehseen may have a view of it. Ashutosh may have a view of it. I'm not taking those statements. I'm talking about specific statement of Rahul Gandhi where he demanded foreign intervention, which you showed one. Second statement I have with Nicholas Burns. You didn't allow me to play it. I can play it if you want. He has specifically asked US establishment to come and intervene. And thirdly, yesterday Padmaja interviewed Sam Pitroda. In that she asked Sam Pitroda that because Sam Pitroda was also saying this was made to Indian diaspora, she said but the statement was made about trade, that because of trade these countries are keeping quiet. So clearly that statement was calculated as seeking foreign intervention. Forget what Mr. Modi said, forget what ABC says. I am asking you, Ashutosh, Tehseen and all others, as self-respecting Indians, do you want a foreign power to intervene in the affairs of your country? Yes or no? It's as simple as that. You can't keep drawing a parallel or an analogy with what Mr. Modi said with a particular context and spin that as a justification for Rahul seeking foreign intervention in your country.
Difference is foreign intervention. Ashutosh, difference is foreign intervention. That's what Shehzad says. One at a time, please, one at a time. I'm going to give everyone a chance. There's enough time.
I'm glad Sajad has realized that Mr. Modi has committed a mistake by making such a statement in the past. That's why what Rahul Gandhi has said.
No, I have not conceded anything. Ashutosh, you can be a journalist who adds spin to everything. You add post facto spin. You did it before also. You are doing it now. You can be a spin doctor. I have conceded nothing. I have yielded to nothing. I have said answer on the fact that I have put out to you.
No, you have conceded that point. Sajad, don't disturb me. I did not disturb you. Please.
This is like Rahul Gandhi thinking hum dar gaye unse.
Be civil, be civil.
But why are you going one at a time, gentlemen, one at a time. Okay, come on, let's not waste time, please. No side debates. Yes, Ashutosh, make your point quickly. Okay.
Let me also remind you, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the BJP has appointed George Fernandez the defense minister of the country. You know what did he say in 1976? And this is the book, a biography from George Fernandez. He wrote a letter in December 1976. Whom? He wrote a letter to the Greece premier Mario Soras, dissuading him from...
Produce it here. Gandhi. I have the statement. Produce it here.
No.
Produce it here.
Sajad, don't disturb me.
I have statement of Rahul. You produce that George Fernandez letter here.
I don't disturb you.
Produce it here. Produce it here.
Here,
produce your facts.
Ex-defense minister George Fernandez in 1976 has written a letter to the Greece Prime Minister saying that don't come to India.
Show it to people.
Gandhi. This is what I'm showing. This is what I'm showing. I'm showing this.
Show the letter.
Sentence I'm showing. This is the biography of George Fernandez. What he has written.
Okay, one second. Let's not get into this debate. See, this is the problem. Each one shows a piece. One second. I don't want to get into this debate. 1 second. Shehzad, 1 second, please. No, 1 second. I cannot. Nobody has. 1 second, please. Nobody has the wherewithal for everyone to keep showing screenshots and us to keep fact checking them real time. So I don't want to go down that very slippery slope. Please excuse me at this moment, gentlemen. And let me quickly bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra, who's been waiting very patiently. 1 second. You made a point. And this question came up earlier as well through the course of this debate. Is, it's ultimately about being allowed to speak in Parliament, democracy being disrupted at some level or the other is what the Congress is saying. On the other hand, you have what the BJP says, which is the insult to India by Mr. Rahul Gandhi making these statements across. Between 4th March and 6th March, just yesterday we had shown how there was a huge change in the position taken by Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Do you think that itself is an admission in terms of the changed position of the fact that perhaps there's a realization that what he said is potentially very controversial following, of course, the huge outburst and reactions here in India?
So, Madhav, when you verbalized that, when you paraphrased the video clip that you played, you left out the last part, which is most important. That is a huge problem. He says that. That is a huge problem. Okay. Now, the only interpretation, now the Congress gentleman is right, it's open to interpretation. The only interpretation that it is open to is, was he asking for military intervention or was he asking for civil intervention in the form of sanctions? There is no other interpretation to it. Second, Tehseen brought up an important point, which was the Pakistani delegation that came to investigate. Understand, there is a difference between investigation. India has been part of several international investigations. And there is a difference between intervention. Not just a spelling difference, but an actual difference. Third, Mario Soares, the bit that Ashutosh showed us. Mario Soares was the Prime Minister of Portugal, not of Greece. So if this book is saying that Mario Soares is the Prime Minister of Greece, then that was incorrect.
I stand corrected.
Okay.
Portugal.
Now,
Okay. 1976.
Oh, okay. Now,
well, I'm very glad. I'm very glad you corrected him factually. Yes. Now let's go ahead. Yeah.
Now, so what we need to understand is that those days were different. Was it wrong that George Fernandez said? Absolutely. But understand, there is a difference. I believe what George Fernandez did is wrong. Saying do not come to India and another saying either sanction us or invade us. Second, what is Greece? The last time Greece invaded us was in 360 BC during Alexander's time. Right? Since then, have you heard of Greece invading anybody else? The problem with America saying this in America and UK is, in the last 20 years, the UK and America have invaded 10, 12, 13 countries so far and counting. They have been responsible for the deaths of how many million Iraqis? They have been responsible for the deaths of how many million Afghans? These people take intervention very seriously.
Right.
This is not like going to a drama theatre and saying Julus Karo. This is like going to Dawood Ibrahim and saying, Bhai, thoda intervention karo. What do you think Dawood Ibrahim is going to take it as?
Okay.
He's not going to take it as come do a drama or hold Mombattis at the border and things like that.
Okay.
That said, Madhav, quickly, if you let me make my last point.
Quickly, please.
There is a fundamental issue here in Parliament. The BJP does not want the Adani issue raised. Fair enough. The Congress wants the Adani issue raised. By not apologizing, Rahul Gandhi is essentially dancing to the BJP's tune. He can put a very innocuous apology. He can say, that's not what I meant. You interpreted it. What does the Prime Minister tweet every year? Michchami Dukkadam. If I offended you, I am sorry for it. Just say Michchami Dukkadam. And then go on to the Adani debate.
Tehseen, by not apologizing, you're dancing to the BJP and the government's tunes. That's a very serious charge coming in from Mr. Mitra. One that I haven't heard before, but please respond to that.
No, Abhijit is absolutely brilliant. But the fact is that the BJP, when in opposition, and I quote Arun Jaitley ji and Ashutosh will bear testimony, will disrupt parliament when in government will disrupt. We have to get BJP out of this habit of disrupting parliament. It's not opposition to government, it's BJP disrupting parliament. So we have to teach them how to function in a democracy. Abhijit is right that India has been a part of many international investigations. I respect that point. Has India perpetrated terrorism in any other country? Pakistan that attacked Indians, killed our soldiers, martyred our soldiers. आप चोर को बोल रहे हैं, आप आके चौकसी कर रहे. So that is an insult to our martyrs. So the Prime Minister has insulted our martyrs. Therefore, he should apologize to insulting our martyrs. Not the first time, the second time. Even during 26/11, when our brave NSG was fighting Pakistani terrorists, he was giving a press conference outside Oberoi Hotel. I don't want to divert. I just want one last point, which is very important. The House belongs to the opposition. Parliament belongs to the opposition. But running the parliament is the responsibility of the government. All I'm asking Shehzad and the BJP with folded hands is allow Rahul ji to speak. Whatever he's saying, allow him to speak. If you believe in democracy, allow him to speak.
Okay.
Just give him his words. You raise the matters.
Okay.
Why are you disrupting parliament?
Running the House is the duty of the government. It's for the treasury benches to run the House, and therefore allow Rahul Gandhi to speak. Perhaps we'll know, or this entire controversy will come to an end. That's what Tehseen says. Shehzad.
I thought history would be kinder to Manmohan Singh ji, but Tehseen has just thrown his entire legacy into the dustbin, because here is a statement by Mr. Manmohan Singh, and I'll read it out. Manmohan Singh appeals to opposition to ensure parliament smooth session, and he says that functioning parliament is also a responsibility of the opposition. This is Dr. Manmohan Singh's statement.
Also, yes.
It's published in 2013, 5th August 2013. Now, unless Tehseen Poonawala, 1 second, Tehseen, I don't interrupt you. I speak with facts, I know you get exposed, and then you start behaving in an odd manner.
I apologize, but I agree with your statement.
So, unless you feel that Dr. Manmohan Singh was entire...
Yeah.
No, please let me complete my piece, then you can come in. So the point is that the opposition's responsibility, first and foremost, Tehseen. If you would say that Times Now is the most disagreeable platform, would you be on Times Now at 9 p.m. articulating your view? No, you would accept that Times Now is an important platform and then you would come. You have gone and said Parliament is nothing. We do not care for our sovereignty. Come and intervene in our country. And now you say I want to be in the same parliamentary platform.
Institution which you want to articulate your views in, you have abused that institution abroad, and therefore it's only to be expected for him to apologize. Tehseen, quick response to Shahzad.
He has never abused the institution. In fact, he said the institutional weaknesses we will cure them ourselves. It is upon us to self-correct them. He's continuously said that. However, let me tell you, yes, the opposition should help the government in running parliament, and therefore the opposition with folded hands tell you, run parliament, allow Rahul Gandhi to speak. You just proved Dr. Manmohan Singh right, and you just proved the Honourable Prime Minister wrong. Before
we end, I have one quick question for Mr. Vivek Bansal. Vivek Bansal, the BJP has questioned one very important point. They are saying that if the Supreme Court has intervened in the Adani issue, they've said that there will be a panel, and they have in fact even rejected the government nominees for that panel. By asking for a JPC at some level, or the other, questioning the wisdom of the Supreme Court, which has actually said that yes, there will be an investigation into this matter.
I agree with this matter. Basically, the thing is that Parliament, people want to see their representatives also discuss this issue, and this would be providing extra material for the Supreme Court to consider. So what is the heavens are not going to fall if this issue is discussed over there. You see, people should know what this Adani issue, which is rocking the Parliament for so many days. What all happens in Supreme Court is not definitely true, that people come to know of it at the time of what all arguments are there. But in Parliament, people are glued to the TV. They watch what their public representatives are saying and what the government has
public representatives need to look into this issue, Karan Verma. It will give additional material to the Supreme Court to debate. Quick response, and then we are done with this debate. Quick response.
Madhav, we should be done with digging old graves. I mean, we have to put an end to this, and the Parliament has to function. Rahul Gandhi's ego is not more than the institution itself, as Shahzad rightly put. He must tender an apology if it has hurt sentiments, and it has hurt many sentiments, and let the House proceed. Our taxpayers' money is going down the drain, and every Indian has to be offended. It's high time we stop going back to 2009, 10, 15, and talk about the present-day Parliament. It has to function, and the parties must come together.
All right, gentlemen. We'll have to leave it there. We'll have to leave it there. Completely out of time. Tehseen Poonawala stays with us, but I'd like to thank Shahzad Poonawala, Karan Verma, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, as well as Vivek Bansal and Ashutosh for joining us on this extremely engaging debate. What happens on Monday is something that we're all going to watch out for. We're none the wiser today with today's proceedings, but certainly we hope that the Parliament functions, because that's something that's very important for us as citizens, particularly the most important session, which is the budget session.